way back at the beginning of the project, we fill in our briefs with what we were hoping to achieve and create throughout this project to give us an idea of the end result would be. During the project, my original ideas changed and developed to what it is now. I knew that the area of art that I wanted to specialise in was textiles, so I went to a few textile-related workshops to do some practical work and see if I enjoyed it and if it was what really interested me. The most interesting was a latex workshop I did with Annie, and although I didn't use any latex in my final piece, it was a really interesting medium to learn to use. Here's some pictures of what I created. For this project, primary research was something that I really struggled with. A large part of it was a photo shoot that I did to get some of my own photographs, some of which you can see on the screen. To create a sample, I used these photographs to create sample pieces to draw from. This pushed me to make the decision that when I came around to choosing an image for my final piece, I wanted to do it to be my own photograph. I annotated all my photographs on my blog with camera angles and shot types, which made me eager to get a really good photo for my final piece. Planning my final piece out included mind mapping ideas and themes I was really interested in. These are visual planning that I did in my sketchbook, with annotations and colour ideas. It also meant creating sample pieces that could include using textile techniques and skills similar to those I'd be using when creating my final piece. Another huge part of my planning was artist research. Just because an artist isn't in the same field of art as what I'm interested in doesn't mean that there's not things about their work that I can learn from. I researched a street artist called C215 because the way he used colour and shape in his work really inspired me for the shapes and colours in my embroidery. In addition to this, the textiles artist I researched also inspired me hugely. Rosie James's work caused me to develop my own work because looking at the attention to detail in her work made me want to edit my flower designs and add more detail to them. Other textile artists that I researched include Joe Swamusi and Lisa Kokin. Lisa's style of mixed media really interests me and makes her work original compared to other mixed media artists that I looked at. In total, I created 3 little sample pieces, using skills such as applying and removing image maker and stitching skills that I'll be using for my final piece. I thought it was important to have a go at sample pieces as opposed to just jumping straight into my final piece, because this meant that if I came across any problems, I could be prepared for them when moving on to my final piece. I didn't come across any problems, the stitching went really smoothly. I did some feature sketching as background planning for the photo I was going to take. It helped me come to the conclusion of the facial expression that I wanted the model to have in my final picture. I wanted to do some visual planning of the flowers I was going to embroider onto my final piece because I wanted to experiment with some different styles and colour combinations. It was also a good way to fill up pages in my sketchbook and have a break from practical work. Firstly, I had to take the final photo of Ella. I wanted a plain white background and for her to have her hair down and have a very neutral expression on her face. I already knew exactly how I wanted the photo, so taking it didn't really take that long at all. I took a few shots and quickly got one that I liked. When I had this final photo, I uploaded it onto Photoshop just to tweak the brightness and make the blue of her eyes and the pink of the lips a bit brighter. But no real editing was necessary. To be able to transfer the image onto my fabric, using the image maker, my image had to be a photocopy. And because my fabric is so big, the image had to be an A2 size, which the photocopier wasn't big for, so I had to photocopy half of her face and then the other half and sellotape them together really neatly. The image maker process, although on a much bigger scale, went pretty smoothly, as I'd already done it several times with all the sample pieces. One problem that did occur was when I was rolling the fabric to the image, some of the image maker seeped out the sides, causing unnecessary image maker to mark the fabric. This didn't look professional and I saw it as a problem. The problem wasn't immediately fixed, but later on when I started my embroidery, I made sure to cover all the little marks from the image maker with flowers. This photo is an image maker on one of my sample pieces because unfortunately the images that I took when doing the final piece I accidentally deleted. The actual process of embroidery went really well and I actually found it really therapeutic. I only made one big mistake, and because it was all hand stitched I could just carefully unstitch the mistake and redo it correctly. The only issue I had in the embroidery stage was running out of thread, but this wasn't a huge problem and was easily fixed by just going to buy some more. Once I'd finished the embroidery, I mounted my fabric onto a wooden canvas frame so that the fabric was taut and my final piece was finished. is an image of my final piece. As you can see, it's very close to being finished. I just have a few more flowers to embroider, which I'm going to do over the weekend before the deadline.